All right, basking in the glow of a Rams feel-good win yesterday. Last night on Sports Final, Fox 2 News, Martin Kilcoyne sat down with our fave, Joe Buck, who I had no idea has now done 18 World Series.
Wow.
I mean, if that's not a record, that's got to be close to a record.
He's not even that old.
18 World Series. Talked about a lot of things, including the St. Louis Rams, not as the lead Fox NFL play-by-play man, but it sounded more like Joe Buck, the St. Louis citizen, answered the question. Here's what Joe said last night on Fox 2.
Thoughts for you. Your other hat, when you're not wearing the Fox baseball hat, what do you hear around the NFL about the Rams, about L.A.? We talk about it nonstop here. Is it a constant conversation around the league?
It's not a constant conversation, but I can tell you that I've heard from people in the league that I respect, who have power within the league, who have told me that it's just a matter of time. That Stan Kroenke's plan is to go to L.A. That's not groundbreaking. That's not earth-shattering news. I'm really disappointed in Stan Kroenke. I mean, I don't know how you're an NFL owner in a city like this with the kind of sports fans we have here, and you're as invisible as this man has been. And so I think any smart person steps back and goes, well, he's keeping his options open. Otherwise, at some point, you step out front hoping that you're going to get support from fans here and say, we're going to do our darndest to keep the Rams in St. Louis. That's never been said. He's never seen. He's not around town. And, I think clearly his objective as a very shrewd businessman is to cash in L.A., whatever that's going to cost him. But I know there are a lot of hoops that he has to jump through, and some that he may not even be aware of as we sit here. He's a smart guy, but a lot has to happen for a franchise to move. It would be crushing to me if we lost an NFL franchise for the second time. This city's too good for that, and it's not a reflection of the city or the fans. In this case, I think it's a reflection of the ownership that really is not invested in having a team here.
You know Dave Peacock. He's spearheading this thing for the governor.
Thank God.
And he's been doing it for a while.
He's a brilliant guy. And I'll tell you, the biggest hope we as a city have of keeping the Rams in St. Louis or having the NFL in whatever form that may come is Dave Peacock. He's a smart guy. He was at Anheuser-Busch. He ran the thing. He has all these relationships within the NFL. He is a major player here. And I think before this is all said and done, and this is the beginning of, I think, a long stretch here, anybody who thinks they're just going to pick up and go next year, it's not that easy. I think that may be Stan Kroenke's objective from people I've talked to. But for Dave Peacock to be involved, we have an ace in the hole and somebody that I think is smarter than most people he's going to be talking to.
That was Joe Buck last night with Martin Kilcoyne on Fox 2 News. First of all, I love him.
I need gas.
What? First of all, I don't know what that was. First of all, not Martin Kilcoyne, Joe Buck. Joe Buck sits atop a pretty small list of people, influential
and Martin
people.
Too, we should know.
Well, I'm talking. If Martin Kilcoyne says that, it's one thing for a local sports guy to say it. It's another thing when the lead guy on the NFL network, or NFL Fox, starts talking that way about an owner. Disappointed in Stan. He's invisible. I mean, that's bringing it right there. Now, I think
it's
Joe.
Something that I think many of us.
That's
have
exactly
said,
right. That is exactly
but when you
right.
Hear someone like Joe Buck saying
that is exactly right. Joe Buck saying, "Look, people I've talked to inside the NFL who know a thing or two about a thing or two. When this comes up, says it's just a matter of time." That's different than me saying, "Boy, you know what? I talked to a couple local jokers, and they think it's just a matter of time." But I mean, there's no question that if Stan Kroenke wants to move the team to L.A., he's playing it exactly right. If he wants to keep the team here in St. Louis, he ain't playing it the right way, and he's too smart to know what he's doing. So,
it's also interesting that Joe was saying that he says that he doesn't that Kroenke may not realize the hoops, how difficult it really may be to do something like that.
Yeah, and that's the theory of the the ownership agreement that says you must have this and you must have that, and to move you must do this, and the team and the city can't do this and that. Yeah, there are a lot of hoops, but when it's all said and done, these are 30 guys that sort of police themselves.
Yeah.
And if enough money's thrown around, they'll change the rules and break the rules whenever they want.
I would think
For
if you-
example, I'm sorry.
okay.
For example, one of the rules was you're not allowed to have cross ownership, right? You're not allowed to own franchises in other towns. Well, guess what? He got around that by having his son own the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Okay? However, that still hasn't taken place yet. So they gave him a year to do it. He still hasn't done it, so they extended it another year. So it was their
They
rule.
actually are making allowances for him to try to get this to
Right,
happen.
exactly. So don't throw up, oh, the NFL has a whole bunch of rules, because they break the rules whenever they want. So because the rule was you can't have cross ownership, and now, well, he doesn't, but he has his son own him. Really? That's really kind
not
of
the same.
my dog owns the team. I don't own the
Right.
team. So it's the NFL owners get to do whatever they want.
And if he wants it badly enough,
And if he wants it badly enough,
It would
and he has
happen.
the money, and you pay the fee, and you dangle money in front of these other owners, and everybody gets a couple $1 million from my move or whatever. Yeah, hey, good luck. Yeah, right. So, Dave Peacock, I know I've met the man once or twice. I believe Joe when he says he's the smartest man in sports, but not even Solomon can get the city of St. Louis or the region to
Right.
give a billionaire money to build a new stadium.
exactly.
So I don't, there really is no good outcome here. Governor Nixon waits till halfway through this season to say, hey, we're going to do something about it. It's just.
When they've been talking about it for a couple of years now,
Right.
I don't know why.
Right.
Now it's like, it's like
And-
Christmas is here.
And
it's like one of those things.
Right. What? They're leaving?
Yeah.
Who knew? And it all of the talk, all of the minutia, it all comes down to this. That if the St. Louis region wants to keep an NFL team, we're going to have to build a stadium. We're going to have to build a stadium for the guy we have, or we're going to have to build a stadium for the guy we want, or who wants us. So we're right back, 20 plus years later, we're right back where we started again. The guy who was here wanted a stadium, or the
Yep.
guy we're going to get wants a stadium. And so, but I still don't see any political will, any public support, any private support of maybe a company will step up and
I'm
say,
going to say, and if we
here's
really
your
wanted one,
Right.
we're probably going to have to cough up some cash.
6:30 here, Big 550.